of land. You can actually own a beautiful piece of land. This piece of land can be really yours, private property ownership. This may not be very special for you, but it was very special thought for people only 150 or 200 years ago. Thinking that people, ordinary people, common people like us, were not allowed to own land. It was the kings, it was the lords, the high society owning land, and we, the common people, we have a tenure, we can never own land. If one told another person, one day I'll own my own house, others would say, you're a crazy fool. This actually is one of the things which now we see in one way, but people 150 to 1,000 years ago saw in a very different way.
Okay. Yeah, so the way we think about things sometimes changes. And today, I'm going to talk about the blockchain. And the first proof of concept of the blockchain is something called Bitcoin. Now, many of you might not be exactly aware of what Bitcoin is, but you can kind of think of it as the money of the internet. And it was really revolutionary because it combined 4 different things that had never been combined before. It took the idea of decentralization, payment network, store of value, and a permanent ledger and combined them into one. So let's talk about that. A store of value. That had been around for a long time. That's things like the USD, the euro, gold coins, silver coins, and it took the idea of a payment network. And this is something like we had before, like Visa or MasterCard, or the ability to go to a shop and wire money overseas. And it took the idea of a permanent ledger. Ledgers had been around for a long time, too. There were databases. And it took the idea of decentralization. Now, it was about this time when Bitcoin started that another project was starting to become very popular, and that was called Wikipedia. Now, before Wikipedia, people trusted encyclopedias. And they believed that one company could make a very authoritative and very accurate set of encyclopedias. Or sometimes there was an author, a researcher, a professor, and he wrote a book. And people would trust that book. But Wikipedia started to prove that you don't have to trust one company or one person, but Wikipedia started to prove that you could decentralize the writing of knowledge on the internet. And it took people from all over the world, and they became little builders. And these people started to build information, and now Wikipedia has grown into an immensely large and wide and very deep source of information. But the blockchain itself, like as Bitcoin, it was able to combine all of these things into one, something that we had never had before, a payment network and a store of value, Visa plus USD together. And I want to mention that the blockchain as a database is a revolutionary kind of database. It's a new and revolutionary kind of database. And it's revolutionary because it does not lie. You cannot change it, and you cannot edit it. It is always accurate, and it always tells the truth. And just as we have databases in the world today, the government uses a database for keeping track of its citizens. A bank uses a database for keeping track of transactions. We can now use this new revolutionary kind of database to revolutionize new areas. And one area that we are particularly interested in is using the database to think about new kinds of certificates. And these new kinds of certificates are basically certificates that can be used to trace a product through the supply chain. It can be used to prove that an item is real. It can be used to take an item and show who is the owner. And the idea of taking an item that is authentic, using authenticity to prove something is real, using a certificate, that was one idea. Using the database to track the chain of custody is another idea. And using definitive ownership is another idea. And the blockchain now can combine all of these 3 things and a lot more into one system.
Well, why did I mention land? And then Jeff is talking about blockchain things. This is the moonshot topic here, and I consider the ownership of land, private property, to be a real moonshot for people living 200 years ago. Could never believe that this could be possible, similar like the little man sent to moon, the real moonshot. And this one we consider could be one of the future moonshots. Now, KYO, you may have heard KYC. Know your customer, but here know your object. Wouldn't it be nice to know things about the objects around you? Thinking about now, for example, products you own, products you use. This could be very valuable to know where these products come from and even where they go in the future. Some items like skincare products, for example, lipsticks for $20, you still have a certain doubt. Where does this item come from? Is it a real, legit, genuine produce? So the blockchain technology enables technological methods to trace the origin of products and similar items. Experts like us and many others are working on solutions to make this become a reality.
Okay. The reason why we're talking about this, knowing your object, is we've started to work with a company. And this company has organic products. And they take a lot of time making sure that their organic products are properly made. They have more than 1,000 employees, and they actually go to the farmer's field, and they talk to the farmer. And they make sure that he's farming in the correct way. And they finally take a lot of time and preparation to prepare their products correctly. Now, on the bottle of lotion, they write, "This is organic." But how does a customer really know that it's organic? And this company prides itself. They take a lot of time to make sure that everything is perfect. And now, for the first time ever, we can start to put all this information on the blockchain. So it starts with the farmer. When he grows a crop in the field, and he harvests that crop, it can be tagged on the blockchain. And then as it moves to the factory, and as it is processed and turned into ingredients, that too is tagged on the blockchain. And then as it's put into a bottle of lotion and all the ingredients are combined, that too is tagged on the blockchain. And it moves from the warehouse to a store where a consumer buys it. When the consumer picks it up, the consumer can see exactly where that bottle of lotion came from, exactly where all the ingredients in that bottle came from, when they were made, and where they were made. And now the consumer can trust that indeed every item in their bottle of lotion is indeed organic.
Jeff, the people can trust because until now they live on what? On assumptions, on promises from the companies and organizations claiming that this is an, now you said, organic product. Now we are working on a different other solution which creates digital certificates of authenticity. This is something like a certificate of genuinity for luxury product, handbags, watches. And this certificate proves the genuinity of items using the blockchain technology. Further, with this technology, we even have a system for ownership tagging. And this ownership tagging works through issuing an identity to the owners, a blockchain ID, and then establishing the link between the owners and the product. In general, this blockchain technology has one of the very important features, data security. Data security means for us here availability of data and the integrity of data. Integrity, then we would break down especially into the immutability of past data. Past data records can't be changed, can't be forged, because this technology, blockchain, enables a system of a decentralized synchronization and a truth, a trustworthy truth, much more trustworthy than the assumptions we have been living with until now. Another one short thought about vehicle service records. Vehicle service records are being put, as I speak right now, are being put on the blockchain too, in order to avoid tampering with odometers of cars. That's just another example of where can blockchain technology, without looking at only Bitcoin and finances, can be applied.
those are great examples. And there's so many more that we can't even talk about them all. But needless to say, the blockchain is a revolutionary new kind of technology. And it's going to fundamentally change the way we think about items, money, information, in a revolutionary way that's even bigger than the way we used to think about land. And it's early. It's very early in the whole blockchain industry. And right now, it's so early that just like in the early days of Wikipedia, there's time for almost anybody to make their contribution. Because it is a decentralized technology. It is a decentralized new form of information. You can add your own piece. I believe everybody here today has a builder inside of them that has something that they can contribute. And I want to say that the blockchain itself is not going to change the world. It is the people that are building on the blockchain that will.